What is up, folks? You're listening to the Texture Pop Podcast, unprofessionalism at its motherfucking finest.
Yep.
I no longer give a shit. Chris Acharya.
And I am still kind of give a shit, but not really. Brandon Carey.
I forgot how to give a shit when I started doing this years ago. Sam Callahan.
And I'm Garrett Glazewski.
Starring
give all of the
Garrett
shits.
as Garrett.
Starring
boring.
Garrett as himself.
Yes.
So
I wouldn't have it any other way.
I guess, to anybody who also gives a shit, may notice that it's been a while since we did an episode last, and there's some unfortunate good reasons to that.
Damn good reasons.
The short version being we are all motherfucking busy to do a podcast in our spare time that none of us get paid for.
I love the matter-of-fact tone of that. Just
I mean,
He's
who
not
are we
exactly
kidding?
exactly wrong. He's
Who
not
are
wrong.
we kidding?
That's true.
So,
It's always been a passion project, and it's not that we don't have the passion, but we don't have the time anymore.
as we will each kind of discuss, we wanted to take a moment to kind of put a proper bookend on this, rather than just we did a show and then that's it, because nobody likes a fucking show going off the air and don't do a final episode. Like, come on. But at the same time,
Gotta have
We
like
don't-
the big hug at the
Of
end.
course,
Yeah.
time will tell whether or not this is a series finale or a season finale.
I mean, yeah, because the whole thing of this coming together is that we don't want to say goodbye, because we would like to think that maybe if sometime in 2016 things line up and that we could maybe do something again. Although at the moment, life being what it is for four dudes, none of which even live in the same damn state.
We all just live relatively on the
it's
east
a
side of the
miracle.
continent.
Quite honestly, it's a miracle this has lasted as long as it did.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fact that we were able to keep doing this
Yeah.
shit. But we've all got families, we've all got stuff that we do, as well as jobs. Because sure enough, I don't know, Garrett, I know you're still in college. Sam, you've started a new school, which I'm sure you'll tell us about in a moment. Brandon, you graduated, as did
Yeah.
I. And doing more shit in our daily lives is what kind of makes our schedules a little bit more complicated. And so I guess I'll start things off a bit. Might as well get this out of the way.
This is so weird.
And,
I'm actually really reluctant to say goodbye to this cast. I'm not even kidding.
I am too.
but I will say that
Hey man, sometimes goodbye is a second chance.
Sometimes goodbye is a
not
second
goodbye, fucker.
chance.
So, but because obviously we still talk to each other and everything. But,
That's the thing. It's
it's
just not like we're just never gonna see each other.
yeah.
again.
I mean,
Yeah,
we
it's
all
like,
still fucking
We're
see
gonna
each
start the
other.
podcast, but I want to see you guys next Friday.
Yeah.
But I know at the very least, when we wrap this up, like I said, with as with every episode, you can follow us on Twitter to see what we're going to be doing, because many of us, we all got stuff that we want to do. Brandon and Sam, I know you two guys especially doing interactive friction.
Yeah.
It's going real great.
Although that's also probably going to take a hiatus once we finish that as well.
But that one, we know when
But
we're
we are
coming back.
guaranteed to continue that at some point.
Yeah. Garrett, you and
There's no
myself.
stopping interactive friction. There is only
Unfortunately,
there
it
is
never
only a
ends.
temporary hiatus.
This train don't stop.
Garrett, you and myself, we also both have kind of a project that we're kind of going on the side
That is true.
with Firmageddon, and details to that you will most likely find on our Twitters if you follow us, or when we start throwing it in people's faces once we get that shit.
Yeah,
I mean,
seriously.
We could also probably just have like a hotbed of like 20 links in the description for this one of just
Jesus.
here's everything we've been working on.
No. But I kind of wanted to kick this off a little bit because, like I said, we're kind of I don't know what the word is. Just going a different route for this episode as opposed to before. Like we don't pull up news or anything, and actually,
I mean, I got some news, guys. Video games have come out. They continue to be unfinished and broken on launch. There's a new
There's
early
also-
access game on Steam.
There also was a scandal at some point.
I think I can tell you, even though I haven't checked, that I can tell you with much certainty that there is probably a new early access survival game on Steam in the past month.
Did somebody in the video games industry say something stupid?
Yes,
Absolutely.
Destiny continues to be a video game.
Oh God.
Remember when we started episode 1 with Destiny?
Yeah, great. I want to die.
Destiny's still around.
It's a bookend. It's a bookend.
Yeah, you start with Destiny, we end with
Hey,
Destiny.
you
We're going full circle.
You
That's
start
true.
You start with monkey, you end with monkey. The-
Dinklebot is going away.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.
They don't like Dinklebot anymore.
Yep. There we go. There's our Destiny quota. Because that whole thing of like Peter Dinklage's lines is being re-recorded by Nolan North, and I actually want to boot up Destiny and start a new character just
No,
to
you
hear that
don't.
shit.
No, you don't.
Have you read the Penny Arcade comic on that?
I've
No,
not,
I haven't.
actually.
It's fucking great. It's
Oh my
yeah,
god.
Penny Arcade did a comic on it, and it was really funny.
So I wanted to kind of kick this off a little bit just to get this out of the way of. So what the hell is preventing me from doing a podcast with the other dudes? Well, a lot of it is job hunting,
Yes.
and
That's
yeah,
a soulless thing to do.
yeah,
that really hurts.
especially when you know. And I'm not gonna. I don't want to. I don't want to depress people. It's like yeah, lost my job. Shit happens. But I think things are turning out pretty well. I've got interviews next week. Well, at the time of this recording. Although, and what's kind of this is proof that life is just weird. But yeah, it's like lose my job and then end up meeting somebody I start going out with. Like, is that how life works? Like,
apparently, if
and
that's
then
the case, I'm gonna quit tomorrow.
It's like, yeah, and then it's like you
If
lose
there
your
is
job.
anything
And
I
then
learned over my years, that there is no set way that life works.
then you
It
meet somebody,
always just kind of happens.
and then I end up meeting somebody I'm head over heels for. So, I guess I can't complain.
Sure.
I
Why
mean,
not?
hey, losing a job isn't that great? Losing a girlfriend.
you're
That,
lucky though that like you still got the roof over your head, you still got food.
oh yeah, if I was really in like a super sad situation, I'm like, oh God, please help me. I wouldn't be doing this motherfucking show right now. And obviously, I probably wouldn't even sound as chipper as I am.
Yeah, because once you go down that hole, there's really hard to get out of it.
And it's not like, oh, I'm dating somebody, so did I like fall into her vagina and that's where all my time is going? Well, no, it's just
Yes.
I
That's
mean,
the
like,
way it's
I'm not
supposed to go.
familiar with the females, but is that how dating works when you date them?
But aside from that, job hunting and the like, also like I've started recording footage for an LP again.
Yeah.
As I said, Garrett and I, we're involved with some friends of ours that are trying to get something off the ground, and I've been taking part in that, recording a Let's Play for Psychonauts, and some of the, just to kind of give you a little bit, to kind of mention this, fucking recording footage for a 10-year-old game on a Windows 7 PC. Oh boy, what a treat that is. You wouldn't think capturing PC footage for a game only a decade old wouldn't be a problem, right? Well,
Surely.
and granted, the hoops I had to jump through to make sure Psychonauts would work is not as numerous as, say, getting something 20 years old to work on a Windows PC. Because the most I had to do was like... Because first of all, one... I'm not using anything I bought off Steam. I'm not using a version I bought on GOG or anything like that. I'm using a boxed retail copy that I bought back when that game came out in 2005.
Maybe that's part of the problem.
But, before games got put onto DVDs and back when they were still putting them on CD-ROMs, so I had to install 5 fucking CD-ROMs of Psychonauts.
Yeah, I remember when I bought a copy of Half-Life 2, it was 5 CDs and a bonus one that included Counter-Strike Source.
Oh god, I was so glad I got a DVD copy of that.
I didn't know there was one, but that was a
There
fun
was,
evening.
trust me. But yeah, but like using that, so obviously, first off, that thing does not. So retail 2005 copy of Psychonauts doesn't recognize an Xbox 360 controller. and I had heard that, like, well, if you have it on Steam, that one does.
Yeah, it does, but the tutorial, I think, doesn't...
So,
I don't think any of the button prompts recognize the controller.
Yeah, so you have to, like, guess.
yeah, so, like, the control, I mean, the control works, and you can map it to whatever you want. It's just that, although the problem I had with the Steam version, like, it had, like, some audio stuttering, and there were some, like, just notable, like, sound glitches and stuff that my retail copy was not having. So, but then, running a retail copy, again, 10-year-old game on a Windows 7 PC, the motherfucker was prone to crashing. Like, in a single session, I had to stop early because the thing crashed, gave me some whatever dumb error, and the universal fix that I found was, oh yeah, you have to run it into compatibility mode, not for Windows XP, not for Windows 98, but for Windows 95 compatibility mode.
Because people love to play Psychonauts on their Windows 95 machine.
I guess. Could Windows 95 even run Psychonauts?
I don't know, man.
My God, I don't know, but so
We can find out.
well, no, trust me. But like so it fixed the crashing problem, but then when I went to record, DX Story does some kind of glitchy stuff on itself when capturing footage. So, but thankfully, and this almost stopped the LP entirely. Thankfully, I was able to go in, and there's a thing in DX Story options of like you can lock the frame rate to 30 frames a second, and it works perfectly fine. It's just now I have to play Psychonauts in only 30 frames a second, which is a small price to pay to capture footage for this game. Sam, I know you'd probably disagree fully otherwise. That's
About what?
playing
Price to
Psychonauts
pay.
in only...
Oh, at only 30? I mean, come on, man. Are you not playing this game at like 300 frames a second? Why are we even having this conversation?
But
That was
that's-
the last we ever saw of Brandon.
But and that's what's been going on with me, and it's gonna make my life easier not having to worry about this podcast for a while. And,
Yeah.
and I mean, and it's not that I hate it. It's not like there was anything about me that like felt like this was a chore. But you do kind of always feel like there's something that kind of wears on you after a while. Like.
For me, it wasn't that. It was like I want to hang out with some of my friends,
Yeah.
but oh no, I have this podcast, and it would be weird.
Yeah. And can't blame me for any of that. So I guess kind of moving right along. So Garrett, so what are you doing, man? Like what's up in Garrett's world?
Not a whole lot. My room is always occupied by people. Right now, it is occupied by not only myself, but my nephew, who is 7, and my younger brother.
Nice.
They're playing Left 4 Dead because that's all he plays. And other than that,
I mean, you're still in like college and everything, right? I mean,
oh yeah, I got a 4.0. I got another
Nice.
4.0. Or no, sorry, I got a 4.0, a 3.8, and then another 4.0.
Nice.
I did not know
Nice.
Garrett was actually like a freaking genius.
it apparently is, man.
Jesus
Apparently.
Christ.
The numbers don't lie.
Nope.
Either that, or he's the best cheater in the world.
I'm really liking I'm really liking my classes though. We're doing that. I went to I don't like the way that our school does our schedules, so I typed out and printed out a more coherent version of schedule.
Yeah, I did that when I was
Just-
in college too.
yeah,
I wrote my own schedule on paper.
I'm like this way I can go to school better. So I can't wait. I bought a new mod for my vape. Now my battery is like twice as long.
And now the vaping
And-
news with
Yeah, and
You guys remember the days before vaping when this podcast started? Circle. Coming
do.
back.
But this thing it does a lot more now because it lasts longer. It does more voltage, and it actually tells me like when the.
I actually have
it
an
tells
old
me when the
friend of
battery-
mine. He used to be a manager at Arby's. He now owns a vape shop.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
The only way to go. Oh, God.
He invited me to the opening, but I declined the invitation.
But hey, man, if you go to the mall where I'm at, Mall Georgia, you can go to the Vape Cabin kiosk.
I actually go to there's a place called Vape Air here in like right
It's
by where I go to
vape
school.
air. I get it.
So is it required by law to have the word vape in your vape shop?
I guess because no,
I don't
joke,
think I've
like-
ever seen one without the word vape in it.
Yeah, because there is actually no joke. There's like one not too far from my hometown, just called the Vape Shack. Like just
Just look, you know, we know, stuff's inside. Don't worry about it.
I
don't
mean,
care
but
what it's
not only that, no joke. Like there are a couple of like straight up tobacco shops of like
Yeah.
places where you can go and like roll your own cigarettes and everything, you know? Like cuz there's some people that like they look at it like fucking grocery shop and it's like, yeah, it's cheaper to just do your own roll your own and get your own tobacco as opposed to, you know, buying straight up brand cigarettes and stuff. And it's like, well, that's great, you know, more power to them. But like even those shops, it's like they also offer vapes now, and like the big ass signs in their windows letting people know like we got vapes too.
You can buy vapes at fucking 7-Eleven over here.
That's where I got my first vape, and now I have like a bigger tank and stuff. Like I go to Vape Air, like I just do it when I'm going to school. But yeah.
What a
So
world.
other than that, what else? Been working on a game. Called Iron Aura, and I won't talk too much about it.
Oh
but,
yeah, that's right. I remember this.
Because you already did.
yeah.
Yeah,
You already did a lot.
Also, you didn't trademark that, so I already made the game and released it.
Damn
It
it,
got
Sam.
alright reviews.
Someone's gonna.
Yeah, work faster before someone listens to the old podcast.
Yeah, but yeah. So that's it's.
Come on, Sam. Who's gonna do that?
I've been
Yeah,
working on
sure.
that. I've been working on that for my documentation class, which went really well. One of the things I'm doing that I'm working on that. I'm actually writing that up, and I've been calling around trying to figure out ways to get hired into the industry after I graduate. So basically, just focusing on school and trying to get a job. That's pretty much what's holding me.
Yeah, and
Yeah, that's basically
Yeah.
life.
Yeah, and it's like I really am gonna miss this podcast. I still want to do it, but there have been times where like I'll be trying to unwind and hang out with friends. Like, oh, I have the podcast today, or maybe oh, we have the podcast going on tomorrow instead. So I'll be like, I can hang out with these friends for a little while, and then I have to go do the podcast. So I guess
Yeah.
it's okay that I don't have to do that anymore. At the same time, I'm really miss doing it because it's awesome hanging out with you guys, and
yeah.
it sucks that it's gonna stop.
Well, I mean, we'll have our hangouts. Just now, we don't have to record like an hour or two of audio now. So this is
mean,
going to be a lot more
basi-
convenient.
Basically, I just don't have to use this teleprompter anymore to tell me what to say. When someone says, "Hey Sam, what'd you do this week?"
So speaking of you, Sam,
Oh, jeez.
why don't we get to you? So what is going on in Sam's world?
So I went back to school.
Which is different
That's-
than Sam's club.
Yes. So it's been really weird for me because I've worked the same job at a pizza place for 2.5 years, and then one day I woke up and said, "Oh yeah, I'm going to school today." So it's been really weird.
Yeah, that's right,
but-
because you quit that place to start going to this new college. Like,
Yeah, well, I was trying to quit, and I basically got marked down to just work 2 short shifts on the weekend. Pay for games, basically. And I'll probably be quitting after this semester. But I'm
Yeah,
now going
I
to.
personally know how hard it is to do the weekend shift when you have school. I do sympathize with you.
that was me
It's
in high
something you
school,
really
actually.
had to do because you need the money, but it does hurt. It
Yeah,
hurts a lot.
Yeah.
I gotta afford that Final Fantasy 14 subscription now. That hot $15 a month.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I finally got in-state tuition for my college.
Oh,
Alright.
nice.
Yeah, I
Finally.
figured that. Yeah, I know. Seriously, I've only been here for almost 2 years.
Shit.
Yeah, so finally.
So it was funny that Garrett mentioned how he was actually liking his classes, and he was, or rather, I think he said he's doing well in them, and I was gonna make a joke about, yeah, it's funny, if you like class you're taking, you'll do well in it, because basically, I've told people about this before now, that I basically flunked out of school, because I did not like my classes, I was super apathetic about it. So this time, when I thought about it for like the year or so I was working, instead of just going back to regular college and doing English or whatever, I said, fuck it, I'm going to the Art Institute of Atlanta, and I'm gonna learn film. So when I went in, I didn't have much interest in film. which was kind of funny. I was more really interested in like the editing process and just to learn that for videos. And now I'm about halfway through my first semester, and I'm sitting here like paying $4 a night on Amazon to watch movies every night almost.
Oh man. Yeah,
it is
that's right,
expensive,
'cause-
but it is fascinating.
Yeah, because I know last night you were telling me how you fucking watched Fight Club for like the first time ever.
Oh my god, Fight Club is so good!
Oh, yes,
It's
it
such
is.
an amazing movie. I can't.
God.
You just watched it?
Yeah, first time ever.
Let's just talk
dude,
about
they have-
Fight Club now. Let's.
Yeah.
Fight,
okay.
What I learned about Fight Club, it's not about fighting. That was the first thing I learned.
Confession:
In
I
turn, we
I
trust.
haven't watched Fight Club.
It's
Well,
so
you
good.
fucking
It is
need
like-
to. You.
Yeah, it's funny because I told my teacher, one of my teachers who I was teaching me filmmaking, apps, and design, which is like Photoshop and Premiere and all that, and I told her that offhandedly. I was like, "Oh yeah, I watched Fight Club for the first time." She's like, "I think that is required watching if you were going to study film. Is
Yes.
watch Fight Club."
It would
For
have
the
to be,
acting, the acting with Edward Norton and Brad Pitt, the editing process, and fucking David motherfucking Fincher directing it. Because I've seen almost everything he's done between that, Seven, and The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo. David Fincher is incredible. David Fincher is an incredible director.
He's so good. He knows how to start a movie too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Also,
have you seen Gone-
all his
yeah,
movies
you mentioned Gone
take forever. They are all over 2 hours long. Fight Club
God,
is
it's
two
so
and a
good.
half hours.
If you liked Fight Club, the Chris, oh shit, what's his name? Chris, like, I don't know,
Benoit?
Chuck,
No, that's-
Chuck Palahniuk. I don't know his name. He is he's writing new. He's writing Fight Club 2, and it's a comic book.
Oh,
think
I
they're
heard
on
about
issue 3
that.
right now.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's on issue 3 right now. Apparently, it's
I heard about that.
it's the guy who wrote Fight Club. He's like, I'm writing the comic book now, and it's Fight Club 2.
Yeah. It's a really, Brandon, you should watch it. It's a very interesting film because I always had this notion that, like, I knew that it was about more than just fighting, but I always figured it was about fighting and masculinity and such, but it's actually very much a commercialism and your place
Yeah.
in society and
And it's
consumerism and, you know...
it's the opposite of masculinity. It makes
Yeah.
because Tyler, I can't
Tyler
spoil anything.
Durden, yeah.
But yeah, Tyler Durden, in Durden we trust.
Why are you
But
trying-
he,
Why are you trying to say you're gonna spoil Fight Club? It's Fight Club. Everyone knows the plot to Fight
Okay.
Club by
Well,
now.
it
You
turns
know
out-
it? You know the big twist?
Yeah,
Okay.
everyone does. It's
'cause
it's
I-
public knowledge.
So what's funny is that I didn't going in, I
you
guessed
didn't
about
know
halfway.
the twist to fucking Fight Club?
No. I went in, I watched it with my friend Taylor because it's one of his all-time favorite films, and about halfway through, I just explained to him what I thought was going on, and he was like,
How did you live
job.
on the internet this long without knowing what Fight
because
Club
when
plot is
everybody
about?
said, because I go onto a forum and someone says, hey, about fight, and then I exit out of that forum.
Fascinating.
Yeah. I mean, I get like halfway through because once you know there's a twist, it's really
Yeah.
easy to notice, but it's still great. Even just the editing near the beginning is great. All the single frame shots
it's
are really cool.
such a good movie.
Yeah, it's well done.
But there's a scene where he's like, what is that? What a man's supposed to look like? Because it was it's not masculinity. It's like the stupidity of being too masculine. Because they see an ad on the bus.
Oh
an
yeah,
underwear
it was like
commercial,
Calvin Klein, I think it was.
Yeah,
so it's
yeah,
like shirtless dude just wearing underwear, like ripped pecs and like you know
Yeah,
great arms
and
and all that, and shaved
and-
hair.
Yeah, and he's like, is that what a man's supposed to look like? And then in the very next scene, he's shirtless because he's about to fight, and Tyler Durden has that build.
Yeah,
It's like, I get it. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Also, Brad Pitt is incredible in that film. He
Oh,
plays
he's
a
fucking
really good, just sort of unhinged guy.
I get cancer. I kill Jack.
Yep.
Fuck us. I love that movie.
It's a great film.
It's such a good goddamn movie.
So even before I go to school, I should also point out for Garrett here, because he's gonna flip his shit when I say this. I watched Old Boy for the first time 2 weeks ago.
Yep.
Oh my god!
You want to talk about a film that's like it's pretty well acted and directed. The story's fine. What really is that film though? Is it's the director of photography Chung Hoon Chung. I wrote a paper about that class because I was so impressed. And you know the big thing with Old Boy is if you see nothing of that film, just Google or just like YouTube Old Boy hallway fight or
Yep.
hallway scene or whatever.
I know
Yep,
exactly
Because
what
that
you're talking
is the shot that is like motherfucking Chung Hoon Chung knows what's up.
about. God.
It is a great display of fight choreography with a long lateral tracking shot. And it's really interesting if you watch the Korean versus the American version and how different they do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
The thing is, I actually didn't mind the American version of the fight because it was great. The old one is realistic. The new one isn't as realistic, and that's what people didn't like about it. And I understand. But there's a scene where he like uses the claw of hammer to rip into a guy's like belt of his pants, basically into his groin, and then throws him towards the camera, and the guy like bounces off the fence right in front of the camera, and you feel that it looks like it hurts.
Yeah, I know.
So-
A lot of the complaints about the American version was that because it kind of misses the point on a few things because of the cultural.
Yeah. It's a flawed, shitty movie.
Yeah.
It's a terrible film.
I mean,
but the old one's great. The old one's perfect.
If you would permit me, there were a couple of points that I made when I watched that hallway scene with 2 different classmates and 3 different friends, and they all gave me different feedback. Altogether, it makes it really interesting to talk about the 2 versions. And it comes down to a lot to just directing style. Like, the whole thing with the loud tracking shot, which those who don't know, is basically just a side shot, like a side pane view that goes through the hallway. Is that it makes it so that's a single shot, which means the fight choreography has to be really good, and also means the hits really connect, because you have to watch every single frame of him just like taking a hammer and just smashing its foot into pieces.
Oh my god, that scene is
It's
whole
brutal
hallway shot is
because
great.
it's brutal because the shot is so uncaring feeling, because it's just a lateral tracking shot. Like, it doesn't zoom in or cut or anything.
Yeah,
it's
it
just
doesn't
you
do
just
anything.
watch it as it happens.
Yeah, you just watch a man destroy these people. Great.
A couple of things that people notice, like in the original version, it is very much, because it's a Korean film, at the very beginning, it is Dae-suo, he's watching American boxing on TV, or it's either boxing, I don't know if it's American specifically. So when you watch him fight, he has a boxing style, he has a boxing pose, and that's how he fights. He literally, if you watch the fight, he does like right jabs, and when he kicks people, he does a really wild kick where he just throws his whole leg up, where it's very like American mixed martial arts.
Yeah.
And the final thing that I love to mention to people is, if you watch both of them back to back, the funny thing to notice is that Chung Hoon gets humor out of the way he does a shot. Because at the very end of the hallway fight in the Korean version, you have Dae-soo just sitting there like panting, and he's like, no, he has a knife in his back. He's sitting there just like panting, going like, oh my god, I'm gonna die, I'm so tired. And then it cuts to behind him, and then the camera just slowly moves from back to the right, and it shows the elevator just full of more guys.
Yeah, I love that scene.
So
Yeah,
I
it
was told this wouldn't take 3 hours.
Trust me.
But we're talking about movies.
I know.
Jeez, Brian, you don't want to talk about film?
But although I think Garrett can agree, now you need to go and watch Snowpiercer.
I've seen
Yeah.
half of it. I haven't seen the other half
Well,
yet.
now you need to watch the other half.
Yeah, so, because Brandon doesn't want to be here until about 3 a.m., I guess I can wrap up by saying
I'm crazy that way.
Yeah. So, I guess I will just finish up by saying that being back at school has been really awesome for me. I finally found something that I'm passionate about, and I'm doing really well because of it. I've been writing papers on different actors, because the whole thing we're doing in class is sort of like an RP setup of, hey, I'm a producer, because at the school I go to, the people who are teachers do what they teach. Like, the person who does my production class is a producer and has been for 3 decades.
Yeah,
Like,
I
actively
know.
making TV as she teaches.
Like, I know somebody, she went to school for animation, and no joke, her teacher was like somebody that worked at fucking Pixar. Like,
Yeah, like,
That's
it is...
valuable, because if you can get on their good side, they might be able to get you an internship or something.
Well, that's what happened during one of my classes. They were talking about, we have actors from the Atlanta area, like real professional actors, come in and do acting for these films we do for the portfolio kids who are finishing school. And she was like, oh yeah, I know a couple of people in the Atlanta area if you want to get like a job working on anything filmed in Atlanta. But it's a really nice thing, just because, not to diss teachers who go to school for what they teach and they know that, but it is so different when they actually do what they teach, because they will not BS you. They'll be like, look, I can tell you what the curriculum tells me, or I can tell you what the industry is going to tell you, kind of thing. Even when it comes down to things like formatting, it's like, look, if you give this thing and it doesn't have 1-inch margins, they are not going to look at you. Like, they will not look at this paper that you wrote for them. Or, she had a side conversation at one point talking about how if, like, some famous actor comes by and say you're working as, like, an editor or somebody, quote-unquote, below the line, just like a person, a cameraman or whatever, and it's like, if you say anything to them, you'll get fired. Like, they don't want to be
Jesus.
disturbed. Yeah, she says that happens. that if you just start freaking out and go like, "Oh, I want your autograph, Mr. Tom Cruise," like I will fire you as a producer. Do not interrupt the people on set.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the pieces of advice that you'd want to have though going into the industry. Harsh as it may be, it's like, look, I just want to know, how do I get the job and how do I keep the job?
I'm totally cool with like harsh.
I mean, if it's
That
the
is no
reality
problem.
of the industry, I'd rather know it
Yeah.
now than get fired and be like, well, I'm glad I know that now.
Yeah, it's literally no problem. It's like, well, okay,
Yeah.
I know that.
So other than class stuff, which, you know, like I said, I'm super psyched that everything's going well in that. We do have Interactive Friction still going.
Yeah.
And Brandon mentioned the hiatus before, because what we're doing for that is I'm trying to take off because Taylor is finishing up his studies at Georgia Tech. I don't think he's going to leave. He's trying not to, but in case he does, and even if he doesn't, I want to start doing stuff with him again for the first time in a couple of years. So we're putting Interactive Fiction off until next year after this. Or like, yeah, recording the end of the year, starting next year.
Probably not
So
next. I don't know if the whole year, but probably somewhere around that line. Maybe
So that me and Taylor can record like a whole bunch of crap ourselves. And obviously I've still got my other projects I'm working on, especially like the magazine stuff, which that just comes down to I have to start reading like one magazine a day and just start scanning everything. But it's been like a lot of that and a lot of just working on video projects and, you know, class. Like the reason that podcast's been rough for me is just because Garrett talked about what it was for him, is that it's just class. Like even though I'm working less now, so I should actually have time off, it's just like, you know, you go to class and then right now it's like I'm making a commercial, faux commercial for Discovery Channel. It takes time.
The
It's like
lectures
hours
are
of sitting
never
in
that
Premiere.
long. It's the homework afterwards that takes forever.
Yeah, and I'm ahead in one of my classes, but the other one's like, all right, well, like, the funny thing is with the movies I've been watching is that I'm doing that to study. It's like I watched a movie that I hated so that I could study the actor for it. Yeah, that was not fun. I hate romantic comedies, as a side note.
Yeah,
But
it's one of those. It's one of those things of like everybody thinks a movie critic has such a great job. Like, oh, you get paid to sit and watch movies. It's like,
You
I-
get
Well, you
paid
also have to watch the shitty ones too.
yeah, I have to watch
I had-
shit movies. Like,
Have you seen the reviews for Pixels?
Oh my god. I
It's
saw like
amazing.
one.
It's like Adam Sandler's character looks as depressed as I was watching this piece of shit. Like that's a review. Oh
Yeah.
my god, it's so funny.
Yep. Yeah, so I probably spent, I think, ballpark like $45 on Amazon Instant just renting movies over. So, like, you know, watching like Fight Club, Gold Dragon
Don't you have a
Tattoo, Ruby
Netflix
Spark.
account?
That is with Netflix. I've also watched like 5 or 6 Netflix movies.
Oh nice.
Like I recently watched a Dutch film about 2 guys falling in love. It's called Boys, and I watched like friggin' Swedish Girl with Dragon Tattoo, and I watched like just films from all over the world, like Hong Kong films and Japanese films. And
There you
it's fascinating stuff.
there's a movie.
If you've never seen it, watch Run Lola Run.
yeah,
Or
yeah.
Lola Rent. Yeah, or Lola Rent.
I actually-
It's so good because that is a German expressionist film. Very good, very fast paced, and if you're going into film, you need to watch that like for the editing, the directing, everything's
Yeah.
really good about it.
I have a whole list I'm building. I actually, sorry to interrupt you, Chris, but I recently watched a film that I've been telling people to watch if you can tolerate it, because it is a pseudo-exploitation film. It's a French film called Inside, and it's basically about a 9-month pregnant woman whose house gets invaded by another woman who literally just wants to tear the baby out of her.
Jesus.
And it's not that... Yeah, French as hell.
I
The guy who
when-
made
when you-
Martyrs apparently watched it and commented on it.
yeah. When you first said French film, for a minute I thought you were gonna say Inversion, which I was gonna say, like, oh god, no, there's no way I'm watching that. Which was no. Inversion is another French film, and the only reason I had heard like other shows kind of talking about that movie. It is super fucked up, and it's another one of those movies like you don't watch it unless you have a strong stomach, and even then you're going to fucking cringe because
Serbian film.
well,
Yeah.
no. The inversion is super fucked up mostly because there is like a 5-minute rape scene, no joke.
Man,
And
that is nothing compared to the stuff that is on the list I have.
yeah. That's
But that's a really weird part. Is I looked up a list of like, you know, the site complex.com had a list of, you know, top horror movies and the top disturbing movies. And at some point when you get to the disturbing list, it just becomes it almost looks so cold. It's just a list of like, this has rape scenes and a pedophilia scene, 17 different murders, use of drugs, and it's just like, at some point, what is this even a film anymore?
Yeah,
like, what is
like-
going on at some point? Because I got to the very bottom. It's the film I've heard so many things about called Salo or 120 Days of Sodom.
Oh,
And
no.
it's-
Sallow.
Yeah.
I've seen that. It's on the Criterion Collection for some reason.
Yeah, and it's so
God.
weird because it's just like here's like multiple rape scenes and murders and all that, and it's like,
And it's
what
like
even happens?
it's like it's art because it's about it's a totalitarian government, and I'm like, sure, but
Yeah, I
it's
can't remember if it was
also-
about like fascism
Why
or
do we
something
have
like that.
to? Why do we
yeah, it's about
seriously have to?
fascism.
Why do we seriously have to watch people literally eating shit? I'm not making
Yeah.
that up. That's-
3 hours, guys.
Fine, Brandon. I will leave you with just saying you should watch Inside, if only for like one, it has no jump scares, and two, it has a really great editing scene that as a personal project I'm actually going to try to recreate. That is just this really awesome scene of the woman smoking, and it just cuts random frames, speeds up, slows down the footage, has like a photoshopped skull texture on her face for like a single frame. It looks really awesome.
Oh, watch a movie called Begotten.
Yes, I have that. So
Okay,
it's Swedish,
That's-
right?
Yes, actually really
It was
good.
God
Really
disemboweling
artsy.
himself because all the kids
Yep.
love that.
God suicide, and then Mother Nature has sex with his corpse, and that gives birth to man.
Welcome to the world of film, everybody.
Art.
What it maybe me and Garrett should just have a film podcast at this point.
Oh god, that'd be amazing.
Anyway, I'm gonna keep Brandon forever. So, school's been awesome. Film's interesting. Anyway, what about you, Brandon?
Of course, it is. It's fun.
So, as people who followed us for a long time probably know, I used to work some pretty awful jobs. I had my fast food job at Arby's. I had my retail job at Best Buy. And for the longest time, like from April till July, I was basically unemployed looking for a job that was, not shit.
That's a rough world. Find one that's like that.
Yeah. So
Brandon is working for a company
I'm
located in
working
America.
as a system administrator for a very large corporation.
This is like Fight Club. It
Yeah,
is.
it's just
No,
walk around it the whole time.
when he's on the when he's on the plane, he's like, if it costs too much money to do a recall, we don't do one. She's like, oh my god, what car company do you do? He goes, oh, a large one. I can't say.
Yeah.
By the way, you should watch Fight Club, everybody.
You should totally watch Fight Club.
Then Brandon's gonna see Brad Pitt in his head and tell him, "Yeah, you should hit him as hard as you can."
That's
You hit me in the ear.
So anyway, guys, since now that I have a full-time job, the hardest part really has been just trying to, again, like Sam's talking about with school, it's just trying to find out how to balance my time schedule now. I have to go back to kind of like how it was when I was in school, I was like in high school almost. You come home at late of the day and you only have a few hours and fewer hours than you used to just, to dick around and do stuff. And it's just an issue of figuring out how everything fits in the schedule now. And I'm getting better at it now that this is the end of my second week. And honestly, it's that's why this podcast has been so hard, is just because I want to do stuff in my free time, and sometimes the podcast kind of takes away from that.
Yep.
You're going to hear that. You heard that over and over again. That's pretty much like the running theme of this episode is that.
yeah.
God damn, the time is hard to find nowadays.
Yeah.
Doing a podcast is hard work.
I
It's
did
a
have
lot easier when you're unemployed. Let me tell you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure you guys have probably had this. Like, I recently had a revelation that I probably have every couple of years, where you just start to think about, time and what you do every day, and it's like, so there are 24 hours in a day, and this is like me walking into my room, and it's like, so if I spend like 10 hours sleeping, 4 hours at work, 4 hours playing this game, and I start thinking, I was like, man, there's like no time to do much of anything.
Yeah, that has been my past 2 weeks. Is just like realizing like holy shit, things take time.
Yeah, it's like every couple of years it just hits you in the face, where you're like, man, there really is not enough time to do much of anything in a day.
It's also the fact that we have so many more things to do with our day than people from like hundreds of years ago had.
Yeah.
Like way back in like forever forgotten lands, you either a farmer, a hunter, or dead.
The dead ones, they had loads of free time.
So like there
It's
wasn't
true.
a lot of like stuff to do because you had to either farm, hunt, or die.
I'm gonna put that on a plaque somewhere and hang it in my room.
You had to farm for die.
In the olden times.
But like nowadays, we have so many things that we could do with our time that like it makes it hard to find room to do it all. You're not going to do it all, but you're going to make a very damn good effort at it. Like now that I'm working from 8 to 5 every Monday through Friday, and I do have and sometimes I do have a good boss. So it's not like it's like it's hard work or it's like really bad work. It's good work. It's just I gotta find the time in my like off hours to do shit that I want to do.
Yeah, I mean, I've done morning jobs and stuff and the like, but at the same time, you're trying to work stuff into your schedule that you would rather be doing, and so on and so forth. So
none of us hate doing this podcast.
No, absolutely not. I'm really gonna miss it.
Unless you caught me on a really bad day after work. And then I probably hate
Well,
it.
you just hate people then. That's not the same
Yeah,
thing.
that's more of just I don't want to see or talk to people kind of thing. It's less the podcast.
yeah, it's like it's like we love getting together and talking and shit, but like sometimes having to do it in like a structured form.
Yeah, I guess supposed to just peek behind the curtain a little bit since we've discussed this, during the interim between the last few episodes or so, is that at one point I kind of brought up, it's like, guys, like, this whole doing it once a week thing, like Garrett said, is that sometimes you're like, I have my week full, and then you just kind of have to cram in the podcast where you can do it.
Yeah.
It's like,
And
yeah,
always-
it has to be done every week. Kind of kills some things.
And it's always really awkward when it's like, it's like, hey man, we haven't hung out in a while, and they want to hang out, and you're like, I can hang out with you for 30 minutes. I have to do a podcast. I don't make money for.
Yeah, the
You're like,
unfortunate
oh.
difference between this being a passion project as opposed to like things like Giant Bomb or Rooster Teeth, where it's like that is
like
their
they're
job.
literally getting paid to do there, so it's like they got nothing to do with that time aside from doing the podcast
Yeah.
and like
Wait.
possibly like other articles to write. So it's a lot easier to dedicate that time when you're getting paid to do that.
I think that's also explains why, if you ever wondered, just because I've seen it recently, why some people do podcasts as just kind of like once in a while, just when we get together. That's probably why. I know a couple of friends who all work office jobs and they do podcasts whenever they're free. No more, no less.
Yeah.
And it's like, that was kind of the thing, is the structure. We tried to play it very professionally as far as when it went up and all that.
And it just
and
wasn't
ended up
working.
beating us in the end. Which,
Like
yeah.
sometimes things like that just don't work, and that was kind of like what the case with us. And like now that I have all that, I still want to do like video game writing. I'm still going to keep doing that, but I got to be a lot more time conscious than I used to be.
Oh, time. Will that do it? It doesn't?
I think so.
I think for now, and first of all, Brandon,
This is kind of like a farewell, but not a goodbye.
The
also
end
Brandon
is never the
in
end.
your motherfucking face saying that this was going to take 3 hours.
Bam! Even with
Oh,
Yeah.
my stupid off-topic
you know what
thing.
hyperbole is, right, Chris?
No, I don't.
Even if we don't cut the 45 minutes conversation I had about Fight Club.
Nope, that's not
So I was telling Chris, I was like, Chris, you can cut that part out if you want. He's like, no, it's fine.
Well,
And I
we
was
can
like,
extend
okay.
this. We can extend this some more. Let's have another 45-minute conversation talking about RoboCop.
Alright, so X09, what's the deal with him?
Here, I got I've got a subscription, a 1 month subscription to a league thing called Pro Guides.
Wait, what?
By the way, guys, you might not be aware of this, but corporate America is actually really awesome.
I don't.
Well,
Don't lie
they've
to
been
me,
awesome
Brandon.
to you.
I watched Fight Club, Brandon. I know that's not true.
No, like being a corporate sellout is great.
Well, I was a corporate sellout too, but the corporation I worked for kind of turned out to be a bag of dicks. So
Damn
Oh, I have a
corporations.
benevolent boss, so it's okay.
See, man, I'm working in film, and I'm gonna be sitting there wearing my turtleneck sweater and going, I think you should tilt the camera 2 degrees to the right to add a new effect.
You forgot to add the
You
fact that we
auteur,
smoking
motherfucker.
weed.
No,
Smoking
man,
weed.
I'll be vaping. It's the new weed.
There you go, mate.
Wearing my thick rim glasses.
Louis C.K.
Ladies and gentlemen,
had
that's called going full circle.
Louis C.K. had a skit on vaping, and he made it. It was weird. He was like, I vaped, and I suddenly got crazy, and I got OCD. I'm like, vaping doesn't do that. You're vapor.
You could have a very low
Jesus.
tolerance.
I get, yeah.
He
but
could
how
also
do
be
you
crazy.
freak
It is
out on
still
it?
nicotine.
Yeah.
He could
What
also be
the
crazy.
hell?
and unregulated chemicals, but that's aside from the point.
Yeah.
Yeah, just don't vape while playing Destiny, or just
I was just gonna say, I think the only
No,
way this
that's what
comes
Red
full
Bull's for,
circle is
Chris.
if there's a Destiny update that says buy a hot new vape,
yeah.
whatever case
Oh
or
my
whatever the
God,
hell you
that'd be
buy for
Unlock an
it, and get
exclusive
this
fucking
Destiny
quest.
emote.
When you
Well,
buy this
if
vape
you
flavor.
Well, if you buy the Red Bull flavored vape, it's okay.
Yeah.
You know what would be the best thing ever for Destiny though is if they came out with some kind of new
they stopped
vape
making-
promotional thing, and it just says, okay, so we got this new armor set that is blacker than the blacker version of the armor we originally had. Because you had stock black, and then you had the black armor that you got for pre-ordering Advanced Warfare, and then you had the blacker armor that came with the Red Bull
God.
thing. So what if we just went? It's just full on hashtag 0000 full black.
Yeah, they got a new promotion. You can unlock an exclusive quest when you buy our new vape flavor Wizard
What
on
if
the
it's
Moon.
darker than black?
Oh man, I would probably vape Wizard on the Moon. That sounds cool. Garrett, is that a verb? Do you
No.
smoke or do you vape?
You vape. It's like I'm vaping.
Okay.
Yeah,
can
there is one that was called Cosmic Fog, and that's actually got some really good flavors in it.
Does it make you think of Destiny? Does
No,
it make you think of Dinklage?
no, but it tastes like there's Fruit Loop flavor. There was Hot Fudge Sundae flavor. Pretty good. But what I was going to say was
So what we're trying to say,
we're really-
if you need vaping advice, go to Garrett.
Yeah, really. If you want to talk about Fight
Oh,
Club, come back
I
next
got-
week.
yeah, movies, games.
Come
and
back next week.
vapes.
We won't be here.
The door will be shut and there's a lock
don't
on the
remind
door.
me. It makes me sad.
Don't be sad, buddy.
I
Come on, we're doing other
understand,
stuff.
but-
Yeah, don't worry.
Yeah.
We got other stuff we're going to be doing, and I guess to kind of put a proper bookend on this is that if you want to know what we're going to be doing, you can follow us all on Twitter. And
Oh my God, yes.
yeah, follow us on Twitter because if we are doing anything, we're going to be posting it on there. So, because as I had said,
that's a
I'm
high
getting back
standard
into
to set.
LPs, and Garrett, you're coming with me.
Yes.
You kind of already have been, but still,
Kind of sounds like meaning to me.
yeah.
It's like, hey, recording IF. It's like, no. You're gonna play Watch Dogs, Sam.
That's what Brandon has
Oh,
to
that
tell
was-
you to play Watch Dogs.
Thanks to Watch Dogs, I actually got an A for my documentation class because he said, I want you to document a game. I want you to write up a 2-page, 10-paragraph documentation form for a game, and I chose Watch Dogs, and it came out really good.
See, Sam,
I love
Watch
how
Dogs
Sam and I
helps
have
somebody.
kind of the same reaction
right.
to that.
yeah.
Because at this point, we are only finishing it to satisfy my psychoses. I don't like leaving projects unfinished.
Yeah.
I would drop it in a heartbeat if I could, but Brandon won't let me.
But
It's my
I do-
psychoses, Sam. I apologize.
Yeah, and I do want to thank anybody that listened to this. Thanks.
Yeah, seriously.
Because
Yeah.
to me, yeah, and it's not like even if we didn't get like views as like a lot.
It
of
was
other stuff
still a
does.
lot of fun to do.
Yeah, because like I said, I mean, it was a passion project, and like the four of us especially, we kind of felt like a close knit group that it seemed like no matter what, we got along very well. We could always play off each other.
You're actually making me cry. I'm not even kidding.
I mean, I just want you to remember this, guys. This podcast is basically what made us friends.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
If you remember the old cast that we're always going to
Yeah.
refer to as the old cast, we barely knew each other when that started.
No.
Like,
You-
I went back and watched some old LP videos that me and Chris did, and the way that we talk to each other is so awkward compared to now.
guys, I know I don't want us to spend too much time, but do you think
No.
we should end by talking about the older cast just a little bit? Some of our memories?
Yeah, we might as well.
The
I
audio
mean,
quality
we're still
was
under an hour.
atrocious.
Yeah.
Audio.
I think we should totally do that.
Skype
So,
audio, man.
We
Do you remember
Yeah.
who was it who was like on the cast and kept burping into the mic and stuff?
yeah,
Oh, that's
I
I'm
remember
not
that.
talking about that.
Oh,
old. I'm
that's
talking
no,
about
no,
the
not
prior
that,
old.
not
far
that.
back.
That's the
No.
really old one?
Shit.
No,
But like
yeah.
the
See, I'm talking
first
about
time-
like Awesome Knots, then going like, "Hey,
Oh,
we
that's
could-
right, I remember
we
Awesome
were
Knots.
just
Yeah.
hanging out in Skype, and then we're like, we could do a podcast. We could
Mhm.
do a thing. I watched
The
the
four
Giant
of us
Bombcast.
have a longer history than you'd think.
Yeah, like if you didn't know us prior to the Texture Pop, we've been podcast for like a year before that.
Yeah.
Oh, that is
And
so
you will
weird to
never
think
see
about.
us ever if we can help it.
There were some good episodes though.
Yeah, I think we started with
Never-
David Cage, and then when we got this cast, we moved on
That
to
was like
Destiny.
I think that was
Cage.
episode 4, which was like David Cage presents Avatar: The Last Airbender, the movie,
Because that
the
There
game.
was
that
some
was
really-
that was when Beyond Two Souls came out.
I had
I
some
remember
really
that.
bad-
That's right.
I had some
Didn't he
really
make it
bad
into-
ideas that I thought were really good. Anybody else remember Power Up or Porn? That was
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I
I remember that.
I'm trying to
That
remember
was
some
actually a
of-
lot of fun.
I'm trying to see how many titles I can remember, because I remember episode 1 was "We Need a New Name." No, we don't. That's too professional. The second
One-
episode was
one
"This
that I-
bitch."
there was one that
before
I
we
called.
realized that long names are bad.
They
There
don't
was
really
one
play.
the one I'll
I
never
don't know.
forget
It,
was
it works for Fallout Boy.
the one that I'll never forget from the old cast was one I called Ratchet and Stank.
Yeah,
because
never
we-
forget. Never forget.
Oh.
Stank.
Yeah,
Oh god, that was the worst.
that's
If
probably
we-
a vape flavor.
If we had memes, it would have been Ratchet and Dank.
God.
Dude.
I'll stop.
I wish I could remember any of the other ones. I remember grabbing pictures from fucking 4chan to use as the things. So like episode 1 was like a picture of some dude from a Disney movie or something, and then episode 2 was a guy in a horse mask wearing a like oh god, what was it? Like a lemon or something outfit. It was a
There
line
was-
because because below that it didn't say it in the pictures. I cropped it out, but it says on the internet nobody knows you're a horse slime.
There was
Was it-
one I started doing the same shit of like doing Google image searches for just random shit. Like
Yeah.
there was one I used like an image of like creepy Woody from like Toy Story stealing
Yeah.
Professor Xavier's chair.
Remember how
Do
you
you
used to guest on the old podcast?
I remember we did guess. Yeah, I was going to say that.
And it was mostly like our guests were people that we were also working with at the time, doing various
Yeah.
shit. But and then that kind of fell apart in spectacular fashion. But
Good news, I found the horse slime image. We're coming full
Great.
circle.
yeah, but
It's been a hell of
It
a
has
ride.
been a hell of a run.
yeah, it has.
It really has.
It's like
has.
2.5
It's-
years worth or something like that.
It's been
It's actually been about
That's
2 years.
probably
yeah.
why I'm so reluctant to let this go, because we have been doing this for so long that it feels weird to not do it anymore.
did.
Yeah,
It did
and it's
end
kind of
with-
because like we've taken off weeks before, even like upwards of like almost a month. But it's kind of weird to think like it's before it was like, well, we're coming back, and now it's like we're not.
I mean,
It's-
yeah.
Well,
'cause
it's not
they're
that we're not, it's that we're not sure if we're not yet.
Yeah.
well, it's like we're
It's
not
released.
for the foreseeable future anyway. Like I
Yeah.
think that one day we'll come back, even if it's 4 years from now. We'll just be like, hey, I graduated college. You guys want to do a podcast again? Like, I would do that. Like, I don't care. If I still know
I
you
mean-
guys years from now, I will
Oh, we absolutely need to know each
Oh,
other.
we will
from now.
still like meet up every once in a while. That's not
We'll
going
be
to
on
change.
Ratchet Friction freaking
I mean, if you want to
episode.
ask, if you're asking me, I'm surprised this didn't end with us all murdering each other. Like that's the we didn't.
Hey, another
we didn't
50
fucking
episodes,
kill
we
each
could have
other.
gotten
That's
there.
yeah. That's
Oh man, this is
so to lighten up the somber mood. We'll wrap this up. Thank everybody for listening to this, because to me, getting not getting like thousands of views and shit, that was never really the point to me. To me, it
No.
was like if one person listened to it, then I felt like we did our job.
And if you ever did like the video or comment or send in an email or anything, you were awesome. 'Cause
Yes.
yeah.
we just
That's-
love to know that somebody listened to this and said, I am willing to give 2 hours of my day,
It's ju-
whether
yeah,
I'm
it-
driving, riding a train, or just sitting at home listening to this.
It is just nice enough to know that people were out there who actually listened to this stuff.
I think it's worth giving a shout
Because
out.
really, you could think of so many better things to do with your time.
Well, it's really cool just because it's a real self-confidence boost to be like, I am an
Yeah.
interesting person. Like,
Yeah.
somebody will listen to this and like it.
And to not only listen, but to actually say, hey, I actually have a question I would like to ask these guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think
That-
I
that-
think
Oh
that
man,
was
I'm gonna
really
miss those
great.
viewer questions.
It's really worth a shout out to a guy we knew, Brandon Adonis Perkins, who was
That
on the
guy
Brandon
asked
for a
so
while.
many
Yeah,
questions.
he asked us a lot of stuff, and
He was
we
one of
always
our best
appreciated
viewers.
that.
Shout out to you, man, if you're still listening.
Yep.
I think
Uh,
he does. Listen, he just doesn't have the time to write emails
know,
to us anymore.
Yeah, because I know he decided he was going to do his own thing, which and that's great.
Yeah.
absolutely.
I'm
man.
glad he did that.
Yeah. Props.
I'm glad this
And
became an inspiration to somebody.
Yeah, it was totally us that made him do it.
there we go. We inspired somebody. But
Don't take that
like
away
I
from me,
said,
Samuel. Not take that away from me.
But like I said, I mean, this isn't even us like going our separate ways. No, far from it, because we still fuck
We're
around
still
and
gonna
do
hang out.
whatever.
We still have other things that we're doing together.
I mean, if anything, we might find another video or recording game-related project to
Something
do.
more interesting to us.
It's possible, like, I'm not even discounting the idea that we can't do a podcast. It just might be about something else, and it's very likely not going to be a weekly thing.
Or-
it might just be
yeah.
like in 3 months, it'll be like, hey,
Like,
like
maybe a
me and Garrett are going to have a
monthly
film
thing.
podcast now or something.
Oh, that'd be
Maybe
great.
a monthly thing or like
Yeah.
a bi-weekly thing
Yeah.
at the smallest interval possible. Will be
Yeah.
bi-weekly.
So we'll still be doing stuff. We'll be around.
Yeah.
I will try to
You'll
write that
see
article
us.
that I've been talking about for 3 months. One of these days.
And
it-
in that news story thing you were planning to do, like with the old magazines.
Yes, I got to start just like taking one out and just start scanning pages. I've scanned like probably 5 or
as
10
well
now.
as like Sam, and I know Sam, you guys always entertain the idea like asking me a bunch of shit. Somebody that was
Yes.
alive when some of that shit was around, like
Yeah, I
And-
do. I think I've talked about it on this before. The idea, I just want to have like a really, really easy, like, hey, grab some Mountain Dew or something, or
Yeah.
grab a beer if that's your thing.
Or,
Just
like,
hang
talking
out.
about
Let's
how
talk
fucked up
about
it was when-
subjects.
Talking to me about Dark Cloud or Dot Hack.
Or just, I would love to pry Chris's mind out what the shit happened when I was 3 years
can-
old and the
I
video
can
game
tell
was
you
going
some
on.
Shit, man, the '90s were heavy times, but good times. But
God, man.
So that if you see
So-
anything, that would probably be the next thing you'd see come out of us.
It does
Be-
feel weird because this is technically an end to something, but it's not really the end to anything.
like I said, it's
because this
it's
wasn't ever anything. It just kind of was. It was
it's
just we
just
gathered
kind of-
around a table.
yeah, it's just kind of putting a bookend to shit. You know,
It's like an end, but not really.
But we're closing the book, Brandon. I'm
Yeah,
closing this
closing
book.
the book.
Brandon, I'm
and other
returning
ones
this
are-
book to the library. It's
it's-
overdue. I'm sending my library card home.
it's closing one book, but then we're opening
Open
another
like
one. You know,
3 different more.
Yeah.
yeah.
Let's grab another from the shelf. It's like, okay, film
It's like we're
podcast,
closing
casual
this
chat
book
podcast,
because-
interactive fiction.
It's like that video game that you've taken like months to finally get through, and now that you've finally gotten through it, you realize there are like 6 different games on your plate now that you had to go through now. It's kind of like that, actually.
I'm not sure whether I'm feeling sad or just confused the longer this goes on.
Probably both.
Yes.
This metaphor is getting way out of
Really.
hand.
Yeah, I think at this point we're just repeating a lot of shit we've already said, but I think this would probably be a good time to call it.
Yeah.
Thanks everybody for listening and joining us on this stupid
On this
fucking ride
journey
that we
of
call the
ours.
podcast.
It really meant a lot to us that you
It
guys
has been
hung around.
one. It has been one hell of a ride.
Yes, it has. Maybe we'll
Well-
do it again sometime.
Who could
but
have ever foreseen that one, like after that one initial meeting, it would end up coming into this? Who could
Mhm.
have ever foreseen that?
I try
Nobody.
not to.
because psychic powers don't exist? I don't know. But still, but like I had said, if you want to keep up with us and what we're doing with our future projects and the like, follow us on the Twitter because
Yeah.
that's where we will be talking about it. And we got
And-
the links in the description below.
And if I do end up abandoning Twitter for like a month or so, then just check the blog, which will be in the description.
Yes.
So if I ever do any work, that'll always be posted there. Same with Brandon. Whatever he does goes up there.
Yeah.
Yes. Your
But-
blog
Yeah,
as
Yeah,
well.
if you're to discuss, all of like my products will be on there in some form. So you can
I'm gonna
just
go.
keep up there.
I'm gonna go like follow that blog now.
You guys should make some blogs too.
And I know,
Yeah.
Garrett,
Everybody get
you
a blog.
have
I have
your
my Twitch and my Twitter.
yes, which is also linked.
And if you go to my Twitch, then it links you to my Twitter. So you get both
Yeah.
of them.
Awesome.
Yeah, I have 2 little modes or 2 little modules at the bottom. It's Nar wearing the just deal with it 8-bit sunglasses, and it has my schedule, and then it's my Twitter, and you click on that, and it takes you to my Twitter page.
Nice.
Well,
Mm.
we're an hour in, guys, so we got
Yeah.
another hour to go.
No, we don't.
What
the
crazy
shortest
Japanese games
texture
have
pop
you been playing?
ever.
Yeah,
So, let me tell you about
We've had
Skateboard Oni
shorter.
Chambara Z2
We've had
Chaos
exactly-
Banana Split Edition.
We've had exactly one shorter when it was just Sam and me.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
true.
okay.
Now we're doing that thing where we just keep talking about nothing.
Yeah, let's just
Yeah,
This is
it.
why
It
the
has to end.
podcast always takes 3 hours, guys.
yeah.
All right. Well, I think I'm going to say this for once because I never got to, but this is the Texture Pop signing off.
Bye, everybody.
I'm going to let you say this once. I'm going to let you say that P word one time.
This is the texture popping off.
That's it.
Yeah,
Popping
that's it.
No more.
Goodbye, everybody.
Done.
Anyway, we'll see you guys in some future something someday.
We'll see what the future holds.
Yes.
Later.
Bye, everybody.
Later,
Bye.
guys.
Bye.